Hey everybody, it's Nathan Selove, and I'm coming to you with another cell phone video. I wanted to talk a little bit about ways that those of us on the spectrum can get through the current crisis, and how in some ways those of us on the autism spectrum might be having special issues getting through this crisis due to the change in routine, the anxiety that's being caused, and all of that. So the first thing I want to talk about is the anxiety portion of it. And this also goes to those of you that might be watching this that might not be on the spectrum but are still, but might be contributing to that anxiety. So seeing all of this news about the current global pandemic and seeing different takes and different iterations can cause a lot of people a lot of anxiety. And in a lot of ways that anxiety is justified. It is kind of a scary thing. But you do need to make sure that you are not panicking people unnecessarily. So what I mean by that is if you are posting information or posting opinions or whatnot, make sure that you are vetting it first. Make sure that you are not posting misinformation about this epidemic so that you are not panicking people unnecessarily. Because I don't know about you, but this whole thing has definitely been making my anxiety a whole lot worse. So be careful what you share. Remember remember how panicking during situations like this can often make it much worse. So so just be conscientious of that. Number two, this is creating a major change in routine. And I've talked about in previous videos how autistics really like their routine. I know that I really like my routine. And getting through this current crisis is going to require changes in routine, and it already has in a lot of ways. I mean, I am a teacher, as I've talked about on this channel before, and all of my classes are moving to online. And so I've had to learn how to do online teaching, how to move everything online, and also getting used to working from home, because I kind of compartmentalize things in my mind where while I'm at work, I'm thinking about work, and while I'm at home, I'm not thinking about work. But I have to kind of break down that barrier and make sure that I'm working from home. And that can be difficult for a lot of people. So one thing I would say about that to keep in mind is that remember that this is temporary. And ideally, the more precautions that we take during this time, the more temporary that it's going to end up being. Ideally, in several months from now, when this, if this blows over in several months from now, we're going to look back at this time period and be like, man, we really panicked. Like, we really were overly precautious. You know, everybody went crazy, and nobody was touching anybody. Everybody was staying home, and we reacted in crazy ways. And it turned out that it didn't end up affecting a whole lot of people. The way that we get to that scenario is if we take those precautions. So that's the ideal scenario. And the more precautions that we take, the more temporary that this whole thing can be. So remember that. I know that it's tough to deal with these disruptions in your routine. I'm coping with that as well. But in a lot of ways, it is necessary, and it is going to end up making things better in the long run. So try to think logically about why this change in your routine does need to happen, and hopefully that can help you get through this. Overall, I just want to tell all of you, stay safe. Stay healthy, be cautious, don't panic, you know, don't get too anxious about this, but definitely take precautions, because I really appreciate what all of you do, and I really appreciate all of you following this channel, and I want to make sure that you're all safe. So get through this, we'll all get through this together. And feel free to comment down below methods that you do for coping with major changes in your routine. I'm sure that a lot of people will like to hear about that. So that's today's video. Thank you all for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a like, share, or if you want to support the channel in other ways, support me on Patreon, and you will see me in the next one.